Your Christmas tree's not 40 feet tall? Oh. Hmm. Hello? You're currently on the phone with Kacey K. Yep, that's me. Well, Kylie Jenner's tree is 40 feet tall, so you need to get on her level. It actually is a massive tree. I don't even know how they got it through the door. I mean, she probably has a huge entranceway, so maybe that's how, but the tree is massive. And yeah, it's 40 feet tall, and it's really like sparse, but it's got like antique looking ornaments on it. I mean, it's really pretty, but like, what? How do you dispose of that? Like, where do you buy that? Who do you call to order a Christmas tree like that? I'm so curious. Maybe she probably calls the people that do the Rockefeller tree. I mean, surely they have somewhere closer to get the tree than New York, but anyway, she posted about it, and it's like, yeah, like I said, antique looking Christmas ornaments, but really sporadic, not too much, not too full, and it reminds her of her childhood, she said, so maybe that's where she's going. I've heard that minimal Christmas is going out of style and crazy over the top tacky Christmas is in, which I like. There are several million Christmas decorations that should not be sold or made or created. I truly think that there should be a buying committee in the world for everything. There's just too much crap. There's so much garbage. I think Temu should be shut down. I think Wish should be shut down. Shein, like, there's just trash, absolute garbage. And I know a lot of people shop on these places because they can't afford, other places. But what's the point if you can only wear things like once or twice and they're done? No offense to anybody that shops there. I have also shopped. I don't think I've shopped at any of those. Maybe not. Maybe Shein. I can't even remember. I bought my Taylor Swift, the shirt I wore, the pink one, from one of those sites. Maybe it was ASOS. Anyway, yeah, I just walk through the stores and think there is this much crap in each one of these stores across the country. That is so much garbage, and it's all going to end up in the landfill. I'm not trying to be like an activist here, but as I'm sitting in this room, just absolutely full to the brim of stuff and crap. I've been cleaning my house because we're getting ready for Christmas, and we have one of our family Christmas parties the day before Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas Day, and the other side of my family comes over. So I've been cleaning, and I just kind of toss everything into this room, and it's quite the menagerie of stuff, I will say that. But it's all memories. A lot of it has to do with pop culture. A lot of it not so much. But it is what it is. So I don't know how I got on this topic, but I did. Oh, I finished my tree last night. I have 3 trees right now. There will be a 4th when I get the other one set up for the party, but my tree is only 12 feet, so I'm sorry to disappoint, but yeah, it took me a while to decorate it. I do things like in segments, and I wish I could be one of those people that just finishes the job like as they're doing it, but I cannot seem to do that, and I'm getting better. I force myself to work on one section at a time and not get distracted, and some would say that's ADD or ADHD, and to that I say you're probably correct, but as someone who doesn't go to the doctor ever, we'll never know. So yeah, anyway, my Christmas is almost done. I put up lights again this year outside. That's the first time in probably, I don't even know, a while. When I was in 7th grade, was it 7th or 6th? I got like really into outdoor Christmas lights, and I would just go overboard. And in 7th grade, my friend ran me over with my 4-wheeler and broke my leg. That's a story for another day. But that year I put up more Christmas lights than I ever had before, and I had a broken leg on this rickety old wooden ladder that literally, as soon as you stepped on it, it would like lean to the side, and one of the steps had completely broken away. But I was happy. I was thriving. I loved it. I wouldn't even wear a jacket. That's the crazy part. I was freezing. Now, like, I get cold all the time. Maybe I just used up all my all my coldness on the years that I put up Christmas lights with no jacket. Anyway, this year I have Christmas lights. They're not nearly as extravagant as they have been in the past, but baby steps, baby steps. But yeah, so if you haven't, there's still time to go out and get your 40-foot Christmas tree. That's probably taller than some people's houses. I'm just thinking, like, that's crazy. Anyway, I did want to say next Monday is Christmas, and I don't. Well, I know. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do one. I know I'm not going to do an episode next Wednesday or next Monday. So we'll have a break, but I'll be back first thing on January 1st. That episode's going to be my recap of the year, like my favorite things. So stay tuned for that. But I hope you guys all have a good Christmas and eat lots of food. And remember, calories don't count on vacation or holidays. So don't stress. I hope you take lots of naps. I hope you watch Christmas movies. I was trying to think of what my favorite Christmas movie is. And it's hard. It's probably... I used to hate The Polar Express, like absolutely hate it. But then one time I was like, wait, this is actually kind of slay. This is actually kind of good. So that's one of my favorites. The Grinch, obviously. That's probably top. Christmas with the Cranks is always a good one. There's one out on Netflix. It's been out for a couple years. It's called The Holiday with Emma Roberts. And that one's hilarious. That one's pretty rated R, so don't turn it on with your family. What other ones? I haven't seen like Deck the Halls in a while. I mean, Home Alone's always a good one. Home Alone. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what other Christmas movies there are. But yeah, I hope you guys just do everything your little heart desires for Christmas, and I hope you get whatever you want. And remember, if you're single, the only person that's gonna show up for you and buy you what you want is you. So make sure you get what you want. I actually toned down this year from what I usually do for myself. I think I bought myself a wool sweater when I was in Ireland. It was like handmade from like in that town I was in, from sheep wool that was from like down the road or whatever. So it wasn't cheap, but it's really comfortable. And so I bought myself that. I bought myself some Skims pajamas, because we do Christmas pajamas every Christmas Eve. And so, yeah, I remember one time my mom used to buy my pajamas, obviously, when I was growing up, and she kind of kept doing it as I got, past 18. And so then I started going to pick out my own Christmas pajamas. And I went to Nordstrom one year, and she would just like reimburse me or whatever for my pajamas. And I spent $300 on this set of pajamas. I still have them. They're Hugo Boss. They might be a little too small for me, but they're comfortable. And I went and showed her the receipt, and she's like, "You've got to be joking. I'm not paying you back for these." I think she gave me like $20 to reimburse me, but you know what? I got the pajamas I wanted. And I will tell you what, I picked out some sweats and a hoodie from Skims, and it was $200. So, yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on with pajamas, but they are getting so expensive. I was so mad because I wanted to get like Skims underwear, Skims socks, like tank. Everything is sold out. Literally everything is sold out. It's so frustrating. Like, I mean, good for Kim, obviously, and I guess it's my own fault for not jumping on the gun sooner, but I figured for the Christmas holiday they'd have plenty of stock, but like literally everything is gone on the men's section. And it's so frustrating. And then Noah Beck has his own underwear line too, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just get some of their those, because I've heard good reviews about those. They're all sold out too. I'm like, you guys, come on. Don't run a business like this. Make sure you have inventory. That's so frustrating. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys all have a good Christmas. What was I? Oh, I didn't really get myself anything else. Oh, I did get myself. So, do you guys know? Uh, I don't understand why every, I don't know, pop star girl or whatever feels the need to have a makeup line or a skincare line or whatever. Like, it makes sense for like Kim and Kylie and those guys because that's what they do. But like, why does Ariana need? Does Ariana have one? I'm sure she does. Um, you know, Jessica Alba has one. She's kind of one of the first ones to do. Does she do makeup? I think she does. I know she does skincare because I buy it a lot and I like it. Like Lady Gaga, Adele's coming out with one. I just don't. I don't understand. Like, is that in your contract? Do you have to start a beauty empire? But from what I've heard, like all these different makeup companies, they have different formulas and different things. You know, it's like, how have we not come up with everything already? Like, how are they still figuring out how to make new makeup? I just don't get it. Anyway, I was on Instagram and an ad came up and it was like, did you know that Vanessa Hudgens has her own skincare line? I'm like, of course. And I'm like, it's probably just going to be some, you know, last minute, like thrown together thing. But I looked into it and there's only 2 products right now. And I was like, that's interesting. That makes me more interested because it's not just a huge like line. I don't know. I feel like when people come out with like so many things at once, it's like, I don't know how well this stuff works, but like when they actually take the time to curate stuff, I'm like, maybe they are onto something. So there's only 2 things. They're both masks. One's like a clay mask and one's a vitamin C mask. And I think they're both $45 each. She's coming out with something new soon, something to do with water. I don't know. So anyways, I bought it and it's on its way. So that's also one of my Christmas presents. I will let you know how it works. The reviews seem to be good and we'll see. But I will do anything to keep my skin youthful. I will do anything except for wash my face at night when I'm tired. But you know, other than that, maybe I'll make it a goal for at least 2 weeks in a row in January. I will wash my face morning and night. That's my goal, you guys. That's my only New Year's resolution. Also to get 50 million listeners, but it's baby steps. We'll start with 2 weeks of me washing my face. Because you obviously feel so much better when you do, but I don't know. Maybe I just have a different kind of tired. Because some people I see are tired and they can still function. I can't. I don't do a thing when I'm tired. But that's that. What else do I have on the list for today? Oh, I wanted to clarify some things on the... You guys liked last week's episode, by the way. That was one of the fastest listened episodes. I hope it wasn't like a jumbled mess, but I forgot to say one of the most important things. It's when maybe I did, but it was when Kim released the video of Taylor and the phone call or whatever. First of all, I don't think Kim recorded the phone call. That was around the time Kanye had that guy with that vintage camera recording everything. I think that's where it came from. Because if you look at the video, it's kind of like dark and dingy, and I know that's how like recording studios are. But I think it was him that was recording. I don't think Kim recorded it. And when Kim released the video, she put, everybody, it's National Snake Day or something. And then a snake emoji. And that's why you see so many snakes in the Reputation era, is because after that, everyone flooded Taylor's Instagram with snake emojis and in the comments and stuff. So that's where all the snakes come from. Just FYI. Second, I was talking to my cousin last week, and it was right after I released the last week's episode, and we were talking, I'm not trying to tell anyone how to feel, obviously, like you can feel however you want, but I just wish Taylor would realize it's not Kim's fault. Like, Kim was so blinded in that relationship. She was so, I guess she was in love. Obviously she married him and had 4 kids with him, but you just kind of do weird things for people you're infatuated with. And I think he was really good at making her like him and think that he had her best interests at heart and that he really thought of her first. And that's not, in my opinion, that's not the case. He went into that relationship knowing the power that she had and that family had. And he sold a lot of clothes and a lot of shoes. And guess who was promoting all those? The family and Kim. And so she credits him a lot to breaking her into the fashion world. And I personally, I liked Kim before she was with Kanye. I liked her style. Obviously, it would have evolved and changed because that's how everyone does it. But she kind of has this way of speaking like he came in and created her, and that's not the case. She was super famous before she even met him. And I don't know. He had her in some really horrible outfits. But there's that one where it's like looks like she's on fire. It's in a recent season, and she's like, everyone thinks Kanye picked that out for me, but I chose it for myself. I'm like, oh, it's an interesting choice. But anyway, back to Kim would have done anything for Kanye, and she was just trying to clear his name. She's trying to get the heat off him, and so she felt like that's what she had to do to prove that he wasn't lying necessarily. Now, also, Taylor made it seem like, how do I phrase this? Kim wanted people to know there was a phone call. Taylor wanted people to know she didn't know about the "I made that bitch famous" part. And I think that's kind of where lines got crossed or missed or whatever. Because then Taylor's like, no, I never agreed to, I never heard the line or whatever. And I think Kim heard, I never heard any of it, but Taylor heard the first part of it, which I don't know. I think that's more offensive than the second part. So I don't understand. So basically Kim's like, no, look, here is the phone call. And Taylor's like, no, I didn't agree to this part of it or whatever, which is true. And Kanye was supposed to send her the sample and he never did. And I'm sure he probably told Kim that or left that out or whatever. So I just wish they would realize at the end of the day, the real villain is Kanye, and he got away with it. He's on to his 700th scandal at this point, but yeah, it's just, I really want them to make, I want Kim and Taylor and Katie all to be in a photo together. I want them all to go to dinner together. I want them all to be happy together, and I want world peace at last. But I don't think that'll happen. Kim's over it. She said that in the Watch What Happens Live episode, but I don't. Obviously, Taylor's not. So for her to call her out in the Time Person of the Year magazine interview, which still isn't on stands, I'm super annoyed. You can tell she still holds a lot of resentment towards that, which, I mean, to have the whole world come against you after years of them, loving you and being obsessed with you or whatever, would be hard. I'm not saying that, but I don't know. I wish they would just talk and see, like Kris Jenner said, why don't you just call Taylor up and find out where things went so wrong? And I wish Kim would have listened to Kris. She has good advice, and she's like, I like her team, I like her mom, I like her, she's a really nice girl, like, I would consider reaching out and asking how this went so south. And Kim's like, thank you, but I'm not gonna do any of that. And I'm like, you really should have, because I don't know, I just feel like it wasn't really any of their faults. And anyway, I'll put that to rest. But yeah, I was driving last week, and I'm like, I don't think I even said the snake part. That's one of the most important parts. So yeah, there's that. I saw Wonka on, was it Thursday night? Crumble Cookie had a Wonka cookie too. It was red velvet cookies in between like vanilla buttercream icing or something with like, they look like nerds, but they were chocolate. It's kind of like on those, are they Little Debbie brownies? Those really dense ones that stick to your teeth. Whatever's on top of those was on the side of them, of the cookies, and that had the W, the Wonka W on it. So I snuck those cookies into the theater. I got another Taylor Swift popcorn bin and a cup. So I have 3 sets now. And but then, so the movie didn't technically come out till Friday, and now they have a Wonka popcorn hat. I want that hat, you guys. I will get that hat, even if I have to go and just buy the hat and the popcorn and leave. I will do it. But I'm like, why didn't you have that available Thursday night? If the movie's out, let us buy the popcorn thing. So we went at like 9. No, it was like 9:40. And if you know, you all know me, I like to be in bed pretty early. So I had to take a nap, and the week before I had to take a nap because I went to the 10:15 showing of the Renaissance film. My cousin pointed out to me that last week I said, I can't sit through Interstellar because it's way too long or something, which it is long, but then I go on to say, you need to go see the Beyonce movie, it's 3 hours long, which is also true, but I'm just not smart enough to comprehend what Interstellar is talking about. I am somewhat smart enough to comprehend what's going on in the Renaissance film, but yeah, so we get out of the movie and it's like 11:30 or something, and we walk out in the lobby and it's like completely dark. The whole snack thing is shut down. It's like roped off. We don't see one employee in there. Like, I'm like, I feel like we're the only ones in this theater. They just leave. It was kind of creepy, kind of eerie. But the movie was good, you guys. The movie was really good. It's fun. Like, you first kind of see him and you're like, oh, that's kind of cringe. But then you're like, but no, he's Willy Wonka. Like, that's the character. And so after you thought about that, you're like, okay, it's camp. It's like, it's what it is. And he did a really good job. Everyone in the show did a really good job. I would see it again. If you're wanting to do something, my family used to do Christmas movies on Christmas. And we don't really do that anymore, but this would be a really good one. If you want to go see a movie with your whole family on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or something like that. It's really good. So, also, I wanted to say, so this was a couple weeks ago, was when Timothy was wearing that Tom Ford velvet suit. It's kind of like pink. He worked with Cartier, the jewelry company, to make this necklace with like rubies and opals and all this kind of stuff. But they measured his collarbone indentations and like around his neck. They measured it perfectly, so the necklace would lay exactly even in his collarbone and around his neck, so it wouldn't have any gaps or anything. So every single ruby and opal and whatever like shined perfectly. I'm like, that is crazy. It's actually a really pretty necklace, but I'm like, could you imagine how much that would cost? Like the lengths that these people go to advertise and to promote, and it's just like the amount of money that is thrown around. I think about this a lot, like when people get invited on brand trips, like Noah Beck, he gets invited on all these, like, to Fashion Week and like photo shoots and stuff, and they fly him first class everywhere. And sometimes it's like the Delta One pod where you have your own little room. I'm like, the budget for these things is astronomical. But it really is. Like when I was flying to Ireland, I looked at first class. First class was, I think, $3,000 or $4,000, and then the pods were $7,000. I'm like, who has this money? Where is this money coming from, and why don't I have it? It's my money, and I need it now. But like literally though, and that happens on a daily occurrence or whatever. Like these big, huge corporations, when they fly people around, they fly in business class or first class or in these pods, and it's like, I'm no accountant, but if you guys are trying to cut corners and, and not lay people off and try and save some money, that is one way you could do it. You don't have to fly people in these these extravagant, you know, airplane seats and design jewelry with one of the most expensive jewelry companies in the whole world. And I don't like, I don't know. It just like you won't pay your actors what they're worth, but you'll custom design this probably necklace that costs $500,000 just for one movie premiere, one red carpet. It's just, I don't know. I wonder if I can find out how much it is. If I can, I'll say it next episode or something. But yeah, it's just crazy. But the money out there is just, some people have it, and those people that have it just keep getting more, and I keep giving it to them. I keep giving what little I have to them. That's why I'll be working until I'm 85 years old. I saw this the other day on TikTok. I think she was on Jimmy Fallon, Jessica Chastain, who is truly one of the greatest actresses of all time. Like, magnificent. So good. Meryl Streep level. Like, if you guys haven't figured that out yet, I don't know what you've been doing, but Jessica Chastain is the moment. And she always will be. But she said she was at the 2011, well, he brought up that she'd went to Taylor Swift's Eras Tour in Mexico City. And she's like, yeah, you know, we met in 2011 at the Met Gala. We were sitting at the same table with, oh my gosh, why did I just forget his name? The guy that does American Horror Story, Ryan Murphy. And she's like, I was talking to Taylor and kind of telling her how I had been going through a breakup or whatever, and we just hung out all night and like danced and all this stuff. And the next day I get an email and it says Taylor Swift, and she's like, I thought it was just an ad or something, and it was from Taylor herself. She had went on iTunes and curated a breakup playlist for Jessica Chastain. I'm like, that is so cool. Like, she really is a girl's girl, and she really is genuine. Who was I talking to? Obviously, I wasn't talking to this person. Someone who had been to Taylor's house before said that there's like no staff at all. There's no chefs. There's no, like, I'm sure she has a maid, but I'm sure the maid's not there at all time. There's like no, you know, personal butler or whatever. Like, everything that goes on there, like, Taylor does it. She comes around with like trays of cookies and like, do you need a drink? Do you need this? Like, what can I get you? Like, Taylor's the one that does all that. So she really is just down to earth and humble. And it's just kind of cool. I like it. Yeah, so there's that. Zac Efron got his star on the Walk of Fame recently, and he quoted High School Musical somehow. You know, he said "Go Wildcats" or something, and people went crazy. But people, when they ask him about it, they're like, "Do you get sick of people like talking about High School Musical?" He's like, "Absolutely not." Oh, this is what he said in it. He's like, to Kenny Ortega and someone else who produced the movie, "Thanks for taking a chance on me. It forever changed my life, and I'll forever be grateful for High School Musical." And then someone asked him in an interview, and he was Jimmy Kimmel, "Does it bother you?" He's like, "No, absolutely not. Like, I love that era. I love that time of my life, and it got me to where I am today, and it gave me my start in the industry, and I'll forever be grateful for that." He was in the movie 17 again with Matthew Perry, and he said kind of a little tribute to him. He's like, "I wish Matthew was here. He's always so kind to me," and all this stuff. But which brings me to Matthew Perry. The cause of death was revealed, and it was just, they said it was just an accident. There was no drugs in his system. There was no alcohol. There was small traces of ketamine, I think, but they said that they used that to treat people with addiction or something. I could be wrong. You might want to do a little more research on that, but I think it really was just a freak accident. I think his body finally just gave up, which is really sad. And Jennifer Aniston said she was texting with him that day, and she said Maddie wasn't hurting. He wasn't in pain. He was just funny Maddie that day. So I think to her, it was super shocking to find out that he had passed away just like hours later, which is really sad. But yeah, apparently Cardi B and Offset have broken up, which I'm not sad about that at all. I don't think Offset is a good person. Let me do my due diligence and just double check because I don't want to get this wrong. But who is in? Hang on, 1 second. Okay, I was correct. I think one of these people died. So Migos is that hip hop group, and one of them is Offset. Let's see. On Offset, it was Cardi B. Is Cardi B's husband, I think. And Takeoff. So it's Cardi B. No, it's Offset, Quavo, and Takeoff. And Takeoff was murdered. Oh, my birthday. Damn, that's not good. Last year, Takeoff was murdered outside a Houston bowling alley on November 1st. During an argument related to a dice game that he wasn't even playing, although Quavo was. Anyway, I don't like this group, and I will tell you why. Hang on. Let me do my due diligence on this one. Okay, so back when everyone was absolutely tearing down Katy Perry, she was on SNL. I think it was the episode where The Rock was on it. And, my God, look at all these ads on this. I hate the internet. I don't want all these ads. It's like seriously everywhere. Okay, hang on. I'm going to pause for just a second and read so I can gather my thoughts. Okay, so basically, Katy Perry performed Swish Swish first as her first song of the night, and she had a bunch of drag queens around her, and the next song was Bon Appetit, and that's who is with Migos. And apparently, just a few hours before the show, the drag queens were told that they weren't allowed to do the Bon Appetit set. And so people like kind of dragged Katy because her dancing is like kind of weird, and just you can tell it's kind of being made up on the spot, and everyone's like, what's going on? And it's because the Migos wouldn't let the drag queens come on the stage with them. They felt too uncomfortable and they didn't want them to be there. And so like people were dragging Katy, but in reality there were supposed to be other dancers up there with her, and Migos wouldn't let that happen because they didn't feel comfortable. And that's like one of a few times that they've been considered to be homophobic or like not inclusive or whatever. And but guess who got the brunt of it? The woman, Katy Perry, of course. So I just don't think that I really don't think Offset's that good of a person. I don't know about the other. It said one of them, when asked if he was homophobic, he said, oh, let's see. Migos were previously wrapped up in claims of homophobia after their comments about I Love Mackinnon. I don't know who that is. While the group has issued an apology, the group found themselves in the throes again when Offset said he wouldn't perform at a gay club. During an interview on Billboard, Quavo denied he was homophobic by citing his work with Frank Ocean. I got a record with Frank Ocean. That closes my case. So, I don't know. Take it how as you will, but they said that the drag queens were allowed to rehearse the whole week with them, and then the day of, they're like, yeah, no. And then supposedly the drag queens weren't allowed to the after party because it would make Migos feel uncomfortable. So, yeah, I think they got nervous at the end and just said, we won't have them with us up on stage, which is sad. I mean, that's just kind of life. That's how things go. People want to protect their image, which there really is nothing to protect there. Like, what are you protecting yourself from? Inclusivity. So anyway, I don't feel bad that Cardi B's not with Offset anymore. I've always never liked them together. I love Cardi B, but I don't like him. So, yeah. Let's see. Hilary Duff is pregnant with her 4th child. She posted a photo on Instagram with like her family in it, and then she's holding her stomach. So yeah, I guess that's good. Someone in the comments is like, she's creating her own Cheaper by the Dozen. which is true. Um, let's see what else is on here. Dune, the Dude trailer came out, and the movie comes out on March 1st. Looks really good. It's got lots of people in it: Florence Pugh, Austin Butler, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, um, Jason Momoa, which also brings me to Jason Momoa's Aquaman 2 comes out this Friday. Um, I read somewhere, this was a long time ago, but they did like a test preview, and it said that people did not like the movie, so we'll see how it goes. Um, as for Amber Heard, I don't know if she's any of the movie anymore. So we'll see how that plays out. If she's not in it a lot, she might be. I think she's in it a little bit, but I've not seen a commercial with her in it or anything. Basically, after that whole trial, just destroyed her career, which is sad. But I think both her and Johnny Depp have their issues, obviously. So who knows? The movie Anyone But You comes out Friday as well. It's got Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell in it, and it's basically one of those like enemies to lovers kind of movies, which looks good. I saw her. I can't remember if it's Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel. I keep getting them mixed up. But I just watched an interview with her, and there's a scene where she has to hold a spider, kind of, and they brought it to her, and they're like, "Don't worry, it's trained, it's fine." And she's like, "How do you train a spider?" And so they're rolling, and the spider's kind of on her hand, like the top of her hand or something, and the spider actually starts biting her, and it's a pretty big spider, and she is like freaking out. She's like, it's biting me, oh my god, get it off, and they think it's real, and she's like, no, for serious, like, it's biting me for real, it's biting me right now. And Glenn's like, yeah, I think this is like actually happening, like, so they cut it, and they like took her to the medic or whatever, and it was fine. I don't think it was a poisonous spider, but it's kind of a freaky looking spider. I mean, it's not like these little ones that we get here. It's like a Australian spider. So I think in lieu of that, you guys should go and support that movie just because she got bit by a spider. But yeah, there's also a new movie coming out. It doesn't come out soon. When does it come out? Anyway, I don't know the release date, but it's Lucy Hale and Nat Wolff, and they kind of fall in love. And it's basically like Nat Wolff has all these relationships, and he thinks they're all going well, and then they just end, and they can't figure out why. So I think it's kind of him and Lucy Hale figuring out why he can't succeed in a relationship or something. I don't know. It looked kind of good, so I wrote it down to talk about. Meg The Stallion and Renee Rap came out with a song. Renee Rap is Regina George in the new Mean Girls movie that comes out next year, I guess. And they wrote a song called Not My Fault. It's pretty catchy. I don't think I'll have it on any of my playlists or anything like that, but I listened to it a couple times, and it's fun. But I think it's going to be in the movie somehow. I don't know if it's in the credits or just on the soundtrack or something, but I wish I would have known this when I did my Mean Girls episode. Someone sent this to me. Who sent it to me? One of my friends did. Who was it? I want to give him credit for whoever sent it to me. If it was you, thank you for sending this to me. But so someone asked Tina Fey. It was like a panel of the new cast and whatever, and they're doing an interview, and they're like, "What's one of your favorite lines from the original movie?" And she's like, "I think one of them is you go, Glenn Coco." And she's like, "Because Glenn Coco's a real person. He's my brother's friend, and he's like literally he's an actual name." And she's like, "He's such a sport for like going with, not getting mad. He wasn't mad. He's not upset, but like he gets so many Glenn Coco comments because his name." She literally used his name, and she's like, "When you're writing a movie or whatever, you just kind of run out of names." So she's like, "I just added his in that spot," and I think that's funny. Like, I love little info like that, little behind the scenes. But apparently Glenn Coco has a family. He lives in LA, so if you see him or run into him, say, "You go, Glenn Coco." But yeah, So Billboard released their greatest pop stars of 2023, and I want to read them to you because I thought it was interesting. Yeah, I guess pop music necessarily means popular music. So it it is a genre, but it's also who's popular. Um, so some of these I wouldn't consider pop stars, but they're popular. So obviously, I don't. This isn't what I want. I found a someone posted on Instagram. It was like all of the list, and this is just showing one, the number one pop star. Can you guess who that would be? Okay, I found it. So, the greatest pop stars of 2023. And introduction and honorable mentions. Rookie of the Year, Peso Pluma. I think he's based out of Mexico, I think. And comeback of the year is Miley Cyrus, which I totally agree with. I don't think she made this list because she kind of just dropped the album and ran, which makes me really, really sad because of all the concerts I could go to right now, Miley Cyrus is probably one of the top. Probably the top because I haven't seen her in a long, long time. She was the first concert I ever went to, like real concert, right out of high school. It was the Bangers era. It was incredible. Her voice is amazing. She has good stage presence. Her discography, you guys, is impeccable. It is so good, and it's different. It's like they don't all sound the same, and she has different genres, and it just actually go take a look at her discography and you'll be like, oh, I love that. I like that song. I like that song. I like that song too. I forgot about that song. Like, she has such good music. So I agree. Comeback of the year, Miley Cyrus. I don't think she's on the list because, like I said, she literally blasted off into space as soon as she dropped this album, and she never came back, only to give us Used to Be Young. So I will forgive her for that. So number 10 is Drake. Number 9 is Doja Cat. Number 8 is Bad Bunny. I thought all these people were rappers, with maybe the exception of Doja Cat. I have to say something about Doja Cat. She did an interview the other day, and it just really bugs me how she's trying so hard to not be mainstream and not. She's like, that's her thing right now. It's like, I want to make music for me. Like, I don't even care if it, goes anywhere, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, she said her team had to encourage her to release Paint the Town Red. And she's like, I just thought of it as like a Macy's or a Target kind of song. She's like, yeah, it starts out with a swear word, but it just reminded me of those. And it reminded me of a song that would be mainstream. And that's just what I was trying to avoid. And that's just not my thing. I'm like, whatever. Shut up. Like that, like whatever. If you didn't, these pop stars and these artists that are like, I don't like being famous, I don't like this. Okay, if you didn't like that, you wouldn't go to a record company and you wouldn't sign these big contracts and you wouldn't do all this stuff. If you genuinely liked singing and making music and stuff, you would be behind the scenes. You'd be in like bars and pubs and just like little small venues. You wouldn't be these mass, like cruise ships. You'd be on cruise ships. Not saying that's a bad thing, but that's where you would be if you actually felt like this. So I'm just so sick of these people saying, I don't even care about having number one hit. I don't care about this. Obviously you do, because you signed a contract saying that you would. So enough. She's like, my team had to make me do this because I didn't want it, because it sounded like a song you'd hear in Target or in Macy's, and that's not me. That's not who I am. Whatever. Shut up. Like, seriously, it makes me so angry. But okay, moving on. Number 7, Olivia Rodrigo. Number 6, Karol G. Number 5, Morgan Wallen. See the confusion there? I would never put Morgan Wallen as a pop star, but anyway. Number 4 is Ice Spice. I like her. I don't get why she's on the list, especially at number 4. She has like 3 songs out. Granted, they're all pretty big songs, but the two of them that I know of are collabs with 2 of the biggest artists in the whole world, Nicki Minaj and Taylor Swift. Speaking of Nicki Minaj, she sent out an email. I think I talked about this, and if I have, just let me keep talking because I'm very frustrated. She released sign-up sheets or whatever emails. She's like, put your name down and what city that you are going to be in. We just want to get like info on who wants to go to what show. And I saw Salt Lake was on there. I'm like, oh yes, finally. Like, I don't think she's ever come to Salt Lake. I had to go to Denver last time to see her on the Pink Print tour, which was great. But I'm like, finally, she's coming to Utah. Someone's coming to Utah. I feel like no one comes here anymore. And so I signed up, and then she releases the album like 2 or 3 weeks later, and then releases the tour dates, and literally every single one of them was on there except for Salt Lake. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me right now? I'm so pissed off. Like, she's going to Phoenix, she's going to Las Vegas, she's going to Denver, Seattle, and California. Like, literally everywhere except Utah. I'm like, come on, really? Really? And I get that must mean that not many people signed up for that, or they didn't think people would go. But if you announce it, people are going to go. Like, I don't know. I just really, really, really upset me. So I'm probably not going to be able to see her. But oh well. Her new album wasn't my favorite. She did get a number 1 for it. It's her 3rd number 1 album. But it's not one I'm dying to see. It's definitely not Pink Print, and it had some resemblance of Pink Friday, the original, but not really. I think she messed up when she didn't have Katy Perry on the Girls Wanna Have Fun song, because if you haven't seen it, forever ago, like basically when Nicki Minaj was starting and Katy Perry, I think Katy Perry was in her Teenage Dream era, like just starting out, but they were at an award show and they both came out and sang Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And I'm like, why didn't you have Katy on the song then? I don't know. The album's good. It's not my favorite. And she's not coming to Salt Lake, so I'm a little salty about that. No pun intended. Okay, number 3 is Beyonce, which makes sense. Well, actually doesn't. I think she should be number 1 or number 2, but that's just me. Number 2 is SZA. She had a pretty big year, but I feel like her biggest parts of this era were last year. I think her tour was this year, but all of her songs and viral TikTok sounds and all that stuff were last year. So that's just me. And if you guys haven't figured out who number 1 is yet, you must be living under a literal rock, because it is Taylor Swift. I'm like, it's Travis Kelce, you guys got it. No, it's Taylor Swift, and obviously, but yeah, those are the pop stars of 2023. I don't, some of them on the list I don't understand, but yeah, so that's that. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, so do you guys know who Food God is? Let me say his actual name, Jonathan Chebin, aka Kim's friend. I question why she's friends with him a lot. He's just kind of not someone you'd see Kim hang out with. He literally changed his name to Food God. That is his name. Yeah, he eats so horribly. I don't know how I don't know. I just don't know how he doesn't look so terrible for the amount of junk that he eats. He'll eat like those shakes that they like have cotton candy and like full size cookies and all that kind of stuff in. Like, that's what he does. He goes around and tries all these things, and I'm like, how are you still living? Like, how's your heart still beating? Anyway, apparently he partnered with some chicken restaurant or something, and they just opened one up in Sandy, Utah. And my friends went. They're like, do you want to go? I'm like, oh, I have to work, I can't go. And so they went, and he's supposed to be there from like 11 to 3 or something, and they get there, it's like 11:10, and like, he's still not here yet. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. It doesn't surprise me, but that sucks. And then it's like 11:40, like, he's still not here. And then it, like, past noon, and like, he's still not here. I'm like, you guys are still there? It's a fast food chicken restaurant. Like, what are you doing? But apparently he did show up. So my friends that went are Catherine and Dalton, and it was Catherine's birthday yesterday. She just turned 42, so go everyone wish her a happy birthday. And Dalton's her boyfriend. So he's the one that does all the. I know I've said this a lot, but I appreciate it so much. Like, there's literally no way I could ever do these. He's the one that does all the visuals for the podcast. So everyone give him a round of applause and wish Catherine a happy 42nd birthday. But they're the ones that went and met the food god, and they got a picture with him. They're like scared to go up. They're like, I'm like, is he there? They're like, yeah. And she sends me a picture, and it's like of Dalton, and she's like, he's behind Dalton's shoulder, and it's like clear in the background. I'm like, are you gonna go say hi to him? They're like, we're scared, but apparently they did, so I'm happy for them. So let's see what else. Oh, Mariska Hargitay. Is she on Law and Order? I don't know. I don't watch those shows. They make me super sad. I don't like cop shows. I don't like doctor shows. And I know they're some of the most popular shows on TV, but Taylor Swift named her cat after Meredith. What's the other one? Olivia Benson? Is that who it is? I think Olivia Benson is Mariska Hargitay's character in Law and Order. If I'm getting these wrong, you feel free to reach out. But so Meredith Grey is on Grey's Anatomy. Olivia Benson is on Law and Order, and then she has another cat called Ben, and she met him on the set of a music video. I think it was Me, and they gave her the cat, and she's like, "Whose cat is this?" And like, he actually doesn't have a home. Like, he's like at the shelter or something. And so of course she adopts him. Could you imagine? So Taylor's cats are Meredith, Olivia, and Ben. And I think it's Ben who's in the cover photo on the Time magazine or whatever, or in the photo shoot. I think that's the cat that's around her neck. Anyway, Mariska Hargitay posted that she bought a cat, and his name is Karma, I think. Yeah, new cat. In here it says Mariska Hargitay's new car, Karma. Stupid auto correct. So yeah, and Taylor Swift's like, oh my gosh, this has come full circle. Like, I can't even believe it. Oh, sorry. It is so hard for me to wake up at this time of year. You guys, we're almost there. We have 3 more days. 3 more days to the shortest day of the year. Let's double check, because sometimes I took astronomy twice, you guys. Not to brag, but I did, and let's see, winter solstice, and I remember all the solstices, and sometimes it's mostly on the 21st. Let's see, solstice. Sometimes it can be on the 22nd, and every now and then it can be on the 23rd. But I want to make sure. This year it's Thursday, December 21st, 2023. That is the shortest day of the year, you guys. We're so close. We're so close to hope and happiness and rejuvenation and like, I love spring because it gives me hope. It's like everything is growing again. There's a new chance for reinvention. There's a new chance for starting over, fresh start. So once the shortest day of the year happens, I'm like, oh, we're so close, you guys. The sun, I can feel the sun saying, I'm coming for you. I'm coming back to you, because I could live in the sun. I'm like one of those cats that takes a nap in the sunspot in the window. I love sun. I love it so much. And yeah, all those people that think that seasonal depression is just this made up thing, it's probably not as bad as people make it out to be, but when you want to go to bed at 4 p.m., then maybe you can come talk to me. But like, it's so frustrating. Like, you just feel, I don't want to say unmotivated, because motivation's like a hit or miss kind of thing, but you just feel hopeless. And you feel like it's just, the world is cold and dark, and it's never going to get better, and you just are tired. I don't know. That's how I feel, at least. I think it's probably why I have 75 lamps in my house. I literally have so many lamps, and they're like on all the time. I don't like dim. I don't like darkness. I've actually gone through some of the rooms in my house and replaced lights with like I'll replace like one light with six, um, those like incandescent lights or whatever, the ones that go, the ones rich people have, that they have everywhere and their house is all lit up. Like, I just love light. I hate dim lighting. I hate it. Like, the worst is when you go into a cheap apartment and they have one single tiny, the boob lamp, the boob light, and it is so dim, and it makes you, like, it feels like a dementor is sucking the soul out of your body. um I don't like dim lighting. And now, have you noticed hotels don't have central lighting? They have like one lamp in the corner and one at the entrance, like one light. I'm like, what is going on? Like, why is this happening? What, can we not have light? Is it illegal to have light? Then you go in the bathroom and it's like you're getting ready, backstage in a dressing room. Like, they have so much lighting in the bathroom. Anyway, I don't know how I got onto this subject. How did I get onto this subject, you guys? I honestly don't know. I truly do not know how I got on this subject. But the Beyonce album came out 10 years ago. That's the one with Drunken Love, Flawless, Partition, all these songs. And that was a good album, you guys. After seeing the Beyonce movie, I've listened to Lemonade probably 6 times, I would say. I just have kind of a newfound respect for Beyonce. I've never not liked her, but I've never been like of the massive fandom. And I guess I'm still not that, like, absolutely obsessed with her. Obviously, she's extremely talented and beautiful and an amazing businesswoman and all this stuff. Very, like, artistic and creative. But after seeing the movie, it made me like her even more. And I think it's because I have this theory that celebrities that don't do many interviews or post very much or anything, like, you'll always see they have millions of likes on stuff that they do. Granted, Beyonce and Taylor have posted a lot this last year because of the tour, but you don't know much about them. They don't give too much info. They are kind of secretive. They behind the scenes. They don't, like, Taylor didn't do any interviews for, well, she did a little bit. I don't think she did any interviews for Reputation. She did a little bit for Midnights. She's on social media more than too, but I just think it gives it more of an appeal. Like, people want to know more about them, and so they're more intrigued by them, so therefore they like their stuff more whenever they post, because it's like, oh, we don't get much from them, so we need to take what we can get. So to see the Renaissance movie, it was like they would do sections. They do like part 1, and then they would go to behind the scenes, and it'd be Beyonce talking about her setting up the tour and all this stuff. And so it was kind of cool because you actually got to see her talking and go through her creative process, and you just kind of felt like you knew her a little bit more. And I think that's maybe why I like some pop stars more than others, is because I feel like I know them, and when they open up and when they kind of give you insight to their life and how they do things and their their daily routine, all this stuff. Like, I think that's probably why I like Katy Perry so much. One of the many reasons, but because her documentary came out at, I guess it would be the height of her fame, almost the height of her fame, but it showed her being vulnerable, and coming from someone who does not like showing vulnerability, it actually made me appreciate her more and realize, like, she's going through a lot. Like, she literally shows when she got broken up with, she was asked for a divorce over text message, and she's literally breaking down. She's about to go on the biggest show of her tour, of her career at that point. I think it was like, oh, how many people? Hang on one second. I can't find an exact number, but I remember seeing on Twitter it was something like 100,000 people or something like that in the crowd. It was, I can't remember, but I just read that she had on that tour, she had 124 shows. Some of them were 10, she had 10 shows back to back. And then after that, she'd fly to see Russell Brand. And he never, let's see, he really, so let's see, sorry, one second. Katie's relentless schedule included 124 shows, and at her behest, the tour cycle saw around 10 shows take place almost back-to-back before a few days off, which she spent with Russell. In order to see him, Katie racks up an alarming amount of air miles, but he rarely joins her on the actual tour or meets her in the cities in which she's performing. Yeah, he's just an awful, horrible, terrible person. I think he released a statement not long ago admitting that he really screwed up, which... good, because he did. You could tell she was just smitten with him, and she in the movie, that movie, you guys, that documentary is so good. Part of Me, Katy Perry, go watch it. It's phenomenal. It's great. And anyway, back to, like, you really see her life, and I think that's kind of what makes me like pop stars more, is when I know more about them, when they're more real, and they just kind of are honest with you, and they like to share their life. And I get not everybody likes to share everything in their life, but the little things are fine. But anyway, I think that kind of wraps up what... Oh, Billie Eilish was on SNL this weekend. It was so good, you guys. It was so good. She sang What Was I Made For? That song... that is probably the best song of 2023. I'm not even gonna joke you. A lot of good songs came out this year, but that song is probably my favorite. It's just so good. It's so... I can't get enough of it. I can't. I need to have it on play 24/7. I feel like everyone can relate to it. Like, at some, everybody always questions at some point in their life, like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? Like, why am I here? What is my purpose? Like, some people hit that at different stages of their life. Like, I think I hit mine at like 22 or 23 is when I really started to wonder, like, what am I doing? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? I've quit school 2 or 3 times at this point. I don't really have a career. I think at that point I wasn't working. And some people want to have kids. Some people aren't sure if they should have kids. Some people want to get married. Some people don't. Some people want huge careers. Some people want to go to school and keep going to school and getting all these degrees. Some people don't want to do that. It's, some people get married and realize, oh, well, this is not what I thought it was. I made a mistake. And there's just many times in our lives, I think it happens probably multiple times, where we're all wondering, what was I made for? Why am I here? And I think the part that I like the most is, like, I think I forgot how to be happy. And I think we've all been there too. It's like, we just all get in slumps, and we get kind of hopeless and think, like, will things ever get better? Will things, will things work out? And I think for the most part they do. And if whatever you're chasing or whatever isn't really working out, maybe it's not what you were made for. Maybe it's not what was made for you. I'm kind of a believer of, things happen for a reason, most of the time. But yeah, that song is so good. She sang that one, and then she sang Merry Christmas, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, and they're both acoustic. And the What Was I Made For, the background was pictures of the cast when they were younger and stuff, and with their family, which, if you didn't know, in the Barbie movie, when they do the montage of, like, the kids and stuff in the background, it's all the cast and crew's old family pictures, which is really sweet. Kate McKinnon was the host, and it was really good. Yeah, it was good. I like SNL. They're taking a break. The next time it comes back is the end of January, and it's with Jacob Elordi and Renee Rap. And like I said, Renee Rap, she's also a singer, but she's the Regina George in the New Mean Girls, so that should be interesting. I do want to end on this because I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was Bebe Rexha at the Billboard Music Awards. You guys, this performance gives me chills. It's her with a symphony, and she just comes up walking out on stage, and she starts singing "I'm Good." And I know that sounds like, why is she singing that song? But she sings it with the symphony behind her. You guys, the notes she's hitting, the amount of force and effort she's putting into this is like, she did not come to play around. This performance is so good. Look it up. Bebe Rexha, Billboard Music Awards 2023. At the end, she kind of breaks into like this pop dance thing with her new song, One in a Million, which is fine too. But the first part, oh my gosh, you guys, it's truly one of my favorite performances of all time. The ones I can think of right now, Lady Gaga, Paparazzi, VMAs 2009, I think. You know the one I'm talking about, the one where she's like got blood all over her. Miley Cyrus, the Grammys, singing Slide Away, I think 2019. Bebe Rexha, Billboard Music Awards, I'm Good, symphony behind her. And of course I gotta throw in Katy Perry's Super Bowl performance because it's just iconic. But anyway, I hope you guys all have a good Christmas. I won't see, or you won't hear my lovely soothing voice for 2 weeks, but it'll be back, and it'll be ready to spew all of my top favorites of the year, and I hope you like it. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear who your guys' top artists were. I know I saw basically everyone's Wrapped, but tell me your favorite song of the year. Message me on you can do it on my personal Instagram, Kacey_K, or on the phone with Kacey K. Like, I want to know what songs really resonated with you this year, and kind of what songs got you through the year, what songs just are special to you. They can be like cheesy songs, like, upbeat pop songs, or really like, I don't know, soul cleansing songs like Used to Be Young. But anyway, I love you guys, and thank you for listening, and I appreciate all of you guys. We're over 1,000 listens. I think we're at like 1,100 now. I got people in Peru and Belgium and Ireland that are listening, so I really appreciate it. Baby steps, you guys, baby steps. But this year's almost over. That is so crazy. I can't believe it. It's just been good. It's just been hard, but this year's been pretty. I don't know. It'll be one of my favorite years for sure. I will say that. So anyway, I love you all. And yeah, make sure to go out and buy your 40-foot Christmas tree before it's too late. Hi guys, thanks for listening, and don't forget to rate and review the podcast, and tell all your friends about it, all your family about it. If anyone's slightly interested in pop culture or they need to learn about it, just send them my way and follow me on Instagram, Kacey_K. I love you, bye.